Video games, as a medium, have defined my channel throughout the entire time I've made videos. I try to highlight the deep universal truths that can be found in video games and the ways in which that video games are almost as good as books or movies, but not uniquely their own art form or anything. I mean, I can only argue for something's merit if I say it's like another thing. Nothing is new anymore, and video games are just movies, but better because you play them, like Jurassic Park Arcade, which is truly profound. Nothing being new and nothing being original is why I originally highlighted Metal Gear Solid 2's AI codec call at the end of the game as the most profound moment in gaming history. However, I feel that it pales in comparison to the game that I played last night, centering on a character that's familiar yet new. Pepsi Man is the apex of what it's like to live in our post-social media world, where everything is branded and itemized. And I am about to prove to you why in this video. And why Pepsi Man's opening cutscene is the most profound moment in a video game of all time, even surpassing the moment in Dragon Quest V where you can start gambling. Pepsi Man proved to me that games have surpassed even the greatest works from other mediums, like Clifford the Big Red Dog, Monsters Inc., and Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. Pepsi Man's first cutscene begins with a shot of a refrigerator. Here, things are kept cold. They are frozen. They are preserved. And that is how everything is in our modern world. Nothing new exists, and everything is frozen and crystallized. And we keep eating reheated leftovers of old ideas that we are told to have by other people. It's also totally white, like how everything is overly simplified corporate logos, and nobody seems to understand what good character designs are anymore. It's sterile and putrid because people get affected by even the slightest disagreement. I have autism, and if I saw a refrigerator that said autistic people were stupid, I wouldn't even bat an eye, because I know better than to get offended by aesthetic taste, even though I could get killed. Someone could say refrigerators are bad and get called Amish or a Philistine or whatever that other thing was. But someone could say refrigerators are good and get called a Nazi communist. It's all these kinds of debates that make refrigerators so controversial these days. And that's not even getting into stuff like freezers or mini fridges. A hairy arm moves to open the fridge. It's implying that men are in this game. And men are a controversial topic as well in circles these days. There's even a male main character in the Orwell novel, Homage to Catalonia, who similarly grasps at something which furthers this game's Orwellian treatise on our condition in our day-to-day lives. He tries to open the fridge, but doesn't know if he can, because of the mobs that attack men for being men regularly. This is just how it's like to be a man in America every day, attacked for just trying to get food out of the fridge on the internet. I would know, because I used to be one. But then I started eating the green stuff that fixes you and makes you normal instead of a man. And now I've definitely never been physically assaulted or harassed in public for being a tranny. This poor male figure might be a fellow AGP, like I used to be, who has lost her way and thinks she will never pass, and so has to face the mobs that come with maleness. She opens the fridge and finds an absolute bounty of Pepsi, finally finding her way through the darkness in the world and getting to what matters the most. She takes too much of the Pepsi, though, her AGP way not allowing her to realize that you need a healthy balance of Pepsi in order to transition the best possible way. It's a folly that all transsexuals fall into at some point. Any decent transvestite knowing to moderate the amount of Pepsi intake in order to make sure it gives them the best transition. But who can blame her when she isn't able to shave her arms and is still a boy motor? I think that everyone can relate to that to some extent. Even woke reactionaries like Stalin or Cuphead, or even the ever elusive bubblegum monkey. Finally, we see her holding all the Pepsi with a big smile on her face, seeing that not only is she a boy motor, she's a late transitioner too. But if I've learned anything from mediocre queer cinema, is that it's never too late. But this makes her grabbing of the Pepsi make more sense. She wants to claw her way into what feels she missed out on voraciously. She gives the viewer a big smile with her mound of Pepsi and laughs at the camera and says that it's time to start the game. Pepsi has given her a new lease on life, even if she still thinks she has to boy mode. And now that Pepsi Man has begun the true profundity of being an AGP boy motor who has discarded repressordom, can now begin. She has found true centrism away from radical woke ideologies like Nazism and veganism, and will no longer be a victim of cancel culture, which is a culture that gets people canceled from their television program. I would know. My television program was canceled because I am friends with the man Tom Green. But all of this discussion will have to wait for the next video I do, because this is only part 1 of a 2-part video I plan to make dissecting the most profound moments in Pepsi Man. Stay tuned for part 2. This has been Arcagent Everlasting, and stay gray.